Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of my lecture. This is Olayeni Dear Kolola Daniels, popularly known as Dear Ko Spectre, and welcome to another episode of Dear Ko Talks Law. On today's episode, we'll be talking about the sixth maxim, which is, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. In my last episode, I discussed he who seeks equity must do equity, and also I have discussed four other maxims, which includes equity will not suffer a wrong without a remedy. Maxim 1, equity follows the law. Maxim 2, where there are equal equities, the law shall prevail. Maxim 3, where the equities are equal, the first in time shall prevail. Maxim 4, and Maxim 5, which is he who seeks equity must do equity. This is Maxim 6, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. If this is your first time of coming to my channel, please make sure that you click the subscribe button and make sure that you click the notification bell, so that anytime I release a video which is going to be of interest to you, you will be one of the first set of people to watch that particular video. Also, please make sure that you follow me on LinkedIn at Dear Kolola Daniels. Thank you so much as you do so. So now let us go to our class on he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Now, this maxim means that a plaintiff who seeks equitable remedy or other remedies must show that his past conduct in the transaction has been fair, honest, and above board. It may be distinguished from Maxim 5 in the sense that Maxim 6 refers to behavior prior to the suit, which is this maxim. When you talk about he who comes to equity must come with clean hand, we are talking about what have you done before this suit arose. Now, as opposed to Maxim 5, which talks about when the suit had arisen, what you did afterwards. Maxim 5, what did you do after the suit has arisen? Maxim 6, what did you do before the suit arose? Did you understand that? We will discuss about 6 cases to understand the nitty-gritty of this maxim. Let us start with case 1. In the case of GILL versus Lewis, a tenant whose lease had been forfeited for non-payment of rent cannot expect equitable relief against such forfeiture if he had been using the premise for immoral purposes. You are coming to court, my lord, though, they don't forfeit my lease. My lord, I need equity, so they would not forfeit it. However, you have been doing immoral things in the house. Let's say immoral things include probably smoking, drinking, and the landlord have told you severally, please, I don't want this on my premises. Now, you did not pay, you didn't pay. Because if you had paid, the law would definitely back you up. You know that we have the law, then we have equity. Now, if you had paid, then the law will say no, you can't evict him because he has done the needful according to the law. But you did not pay. Now look at the fact again. A tenant whose lease has been forfeited for non-payment of rent, you did not pay. So when you now get to court, the court is supposed to look at it and say, where do you want him to go all of a sudden? Oh yeah, give him 3 months for him to pay. But then the landlord now said, my lord, I would have even given him those 3 months. But this person is a very stupid person. This person will carry girls in the middle of the night and be blasting music, and will come and knock, he wouldn't care. He will be smoking, he will be, my lord will say, fantabulous. So you are coming to equity, I have been doing all this. My brother, there is nothing I can do for you. You have not done what you are supposed to do, which is pay the rent. Where equity was supposed to avail you, you seem not to have clean hands because you have done a lot of immoral things. And because of that, we are not going to grant you any equitable relief or any equitable remedy. Do you understand? That's our first case of GILL versus Lewis. Now let's go to our second case of COATSWORTH versus Johnson, an 1886 case. Now, an equitable tenant under an agreement for a lease cannot obtain a decree of specific performance of legal lease if he has been in breach of covenant to be contained in that lease. So basically we are saying that when you are an equitable tenant, you cannot automatically change to a legal tenant by order of specific performance. And by order of specific performance, that means you are invoking the equitable jurisdiction of the court. If you are coming to court to seek equity, you must come with what? With clean hands. Do you have clean hands? No. You had already breached one of the covenants in the lease agreement. That is not having clean hands. For you to have clean hands, you must have done everything right. If you haven't done everything right, you cannot evoke the jurisdiction of the courts. That's the equitable jurisdiction, the equitable conscience. You must have done the right things before you can invoke the equitable conscience of the court. Now, in the case of OVERTON versus Bannister, where an infant beneficiary, by fraudulently misrepresenting himself to be of age, obtained from the trustee a sum of money to which he was not entitled until he came of age, neither he nor his assigns could compel the trustee to pay the sum when he obtained majority. This person is just a very, very stupid person. Now, you were 13. You knew that the 5 million naira that you were supposed to collect, you are not supposed to collect at that age. Let's say 13 is too young. Let's say you were 16, and because you have a very built body, the person thought that, oh, that's the truth, you are now 18. You were supposed to collect 5 million, so you now went to meet him. Oga, I don't reach 18, can't give my 5 million. He gave you, fraudulently misrepresenting your age. And then when you now became 18, you now go to meet him again. My guy, yeah, come give my 5 million. And then the guy said, chairman, did you come about 2 years ago that you were already 18? Then you now bring your birth certificate. Chairman, no, now you know due diligence. So no, I never reach 18. I still be 16 that time. Now I just clock 18. And then the guy is like, well, I don't care if it was then or now. I've given you the money, I've given you the money. Now when they get to court, that other guy is seeking equity by saying that he wants to collect his money. But does he have clean hands? How can you come to equity with such a fraudulent character? No, equity will not avail you. Equity will send you, will chase you out of the court. And that's what the court did. He said, so you are coming here to collect your 5 million, but you've collected the 5 million while pretending that you were already 18. That is just being overly fraudulent. In the case of VIATONU versus ODUTAYO, which is our fourth case, a 1950 case, a sale of mortgage property was set aside because the mortgagee, in exercising his power of sale, did not act bona fide and therefore did not have clean hands. Now, it is important to note that this maxim does not refer to any conduct of the plaintiff other than that which is connected to the transaction in question. A party is not required to have led a completely blameless life, but his record must be clean in relation to the equity claimed. Now, as the American judge Brandeis J. put it in LOUGHRAN and LOUGHRAN, equity does not demand that its suitors shall have or have led blameless lives. It is only the conduct which has an immediate and necessary relation to the equity sued for. I want you to understand that, because they say equity, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Now you have a contract and you breach the contract, and the other person has come to court. You now want to, in a desperate attempt to not evoke the equitable jurisdiction of the court, you now say, my lord, this man is a very adulterous man. This man fornicates like any other thing. He even drinks and smokes. Okay, thank you for that piece of information. So please tell me, how does that affect the contract before me? That's what my lord will say. Because yes, he drinks, yes, he smokes, yes, he sleeps with 50 girls per night, but we are talking about the contract between you and him, a contract for sale of land. How does that affect the contract? It doesn't. And that's what Brandeis J. is saying in LOUGHRAN and LOUGHRAN. Equity does not demand that his suitors have a blameless life or have led a blameless life. It is only the conduct which is of immediate and necessary relation to the equity sued for. Do you understand? Let me give you a case, a classic case as an example, which is our last case for today. The case of Craig and Craig, where the petitioner, who had sought the dissolution of her marriage with the respondent on the ground of the latter's adultery and cruelty, has also been guilty herself of adultery but failed to make that confession. The court held that she has acted in bad faith and therefore was not entitled to the dissolution of the marriage. So yes, that's what we are talking about here. So we are saying that one person is saying that, oh, my husband has been adulterous, has been this, has been that. Normally, adultery is not a fact in issue. It's not something that should be brought before the court, except it is such that has been introduced as a fact in issue. So basically, in this case, the only reason, the woman's adultery nature is being questioned is because she is also questioning someone else's adultery nature, and that is the reason for the dissolution of the marriage. Naturally, if the woman has been sleeping with the whole men in the whole world, it is nobody's business in relation to a matter in court. But where she begins to point finger and uses that for a basis to want to dissolve a marriage, then the court will now look at you and say, chairman, you are coming to seek equity for me, but you yourself dey do am. How far now? Do you understand that? And that's the case of Craig and Craig. But imagine that this was a contract. Someone says that, okay, I'm going to give you 500 crates of drinks on your birthday. Okay, I'll give you this money. He gave him the money, but the person did not bring the 500 crates. And then the other party was now saying, he's an adulterous man, he's a clinical man. But that has nothing to do with why he did not give him 500 crates on his birthday. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it has to be such that it is in relation to what we are talking about, not bringing frivolous or stupid things. Nobody, even pastors, cannot live blameless lives. So if you have to be pointing at everybody, do you understand what I'm saying? Nobody, even the judge that you are coming to meet, it might even be a fornicator. If you understand what I'm saying. So the inequity, we are not looking for whether your life has been blameless or things like that. We are looking for in relation to this transaction before the court. That is why if you go to the cases before now that I cited to you, for example, GILL and Lewis, the only reason his immoral acts were called into question is because of the fact that he had not paid his rent, and then he was frustrating the landlord. That's why his immoral acts were called into question. If it was maybe payment of school fees and he has not paid the school fees, his immoral act of carrying girls is not relevant now. If he doesn't do it in the school premises, if he does it at home, nobody's business. Do you understand that? So, and then don't forget that in my last class, I told you about the armed robbers, and I told you why the court will not allow that armed robber, even though there was an agreement, will not allow equity to avail the armed robber, because the armed robber does not have a clean hand. How can you go and steal, rob, then the other party breaches the term of the agreement, you now come to court to enforce it, and you want equity to help you? Your hands are not just dirty, they are filled with blood. Equity will not help you. Do you understand that? So that is going to be the end of my lecture for today. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the lecture. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and share these videos with your friends, and also make sure that you follow me on LinkedIn at Dear Kolola Daniels. My next lecture will be Delay Defeat Equity, or better put, Equity aids the vigilant and not the indolent. The Latin is Vigilantibus non dominientibus equitas subvenins. And I'll see you in my next class where I discuss this. Have a very beautiful day.